Have you ever heard of the National Mango Board or the Haas Avocado Board? Maybe you've heard of the Cotton Board. All of these are research and promotional boards created by members within their industry to promote and grow consumer demand within the United States. About a year ago, I started a journey with 3 other gentlemen who sell limes. We came together and pitched to the entire lime industry an idea to start a research and promotional board. Right now, you're going to hear our story of how it all began, where we're at, and where we're going. So stay tuned. That's starting right now. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Importer Insight, the podcast that takes you behind the scene of the global import community. Today, I am with mis tres amigos favoritos de Limas Persas. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that was really good.
Thank you. We have Diego Morales of D Produce, David Villaseñor of Villamex Farms, and Alfonso Sandoval of Limonik Produce. Welcome, everybody. Thanks, you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so today is April 2nd. We're recording on April 2nd, and we just found out about the tariffs, what's going to happen with the reciprocal tariffs. How are you guys feeling about this? Diego, why don't you go first?
I think it's great news for Mexican produce that we're not going to be paying tariffs, at least for the near future. And I think it's going to take off a little bit of the pressure of the uncertainty that everybody is basically having of not knowing. That I think is going to be at least great news for now.
Right. What about you, David?
Well, the biggest news is the consumer is not going to get impact, so that's a great news. And for us, as the importers, it will be easier to negotiate pricing and
For sure.
bring in volume too. It will make it a lot easier.
Yeah. Alfonso, do you have anything to add?
Well, I think everyone was like a little bit afraid of what is gonna happen. So
Mhm.
I think right now we're just trying to relax a little bit and just try to focus on the market. I think that will be all.
Yes, I think we're all celebrating a little bit right now. It was such a relief hearing that Mexico was not going to be tariffed. I know we were all holding our breath, actually, waiting to see what happened this afternoon, but I'm glad it turned out the way it did. So anyhow, we're here to talk about the emerging National Lime Board that we kind of came together to start back in April of 2024. Can you guys tell me, I think I was kind of like the last one to join our group. How did it all initiate? Who initiated it first, and how did it start?
Well, it was initiated. I don't want to take the credit, because I needed 2 more or 3
Yo,
more people to initiate it, but I was the one that I was contacting because the relationship, we're very close friends with Alfonso and Diego, and so those are my 2 first immediate contacts there. It was regarding a different story, but at the end is going towards the same uh, issue, which is the lime community and the lime market. And then we contact you, and then you took it to a different level.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. It
Yeah.
got be John, right?
Yes. Yeah. Within a month, just so everyone has the backstory. So within a month, we'd met, and then a month later, we were meeting with a huge
Everybody.
number of people within the lime industry, facilitated by Tippa. Thank you again, Tippa. And it kind of took off from there. I think it was a very good beginning. I think everybody was kind of talking about it or had been talking about it. I know there had been attempts in the past by other companies, but it took us really coming together and being one voice to get it going. And I'm excited about where it's headed so far. What do you think? I think we've got about 15 different companies so far that have committed. Is that correct? Yeah. And so we're missing about 5 more. And that's why we're here today, to kind of get that final push for the 5 more. I'm hoping by the end of Viva Fresh, we'll have those commitments,
I
which,
think so too. I think once they see that we are more organized and everybody is more committed to the line board, I think they will just come aboard easily now
yes,
than when we started. And it was because we never give up, you know, it was pushing, pushing, pushing. And it was some frustrated times where I was like, it looked like it was not going nowhere, and everybody was negative about it. And this would never happen. And the line committee, they're very unorganized. And here we go. You know, 2 years later, we're about to close it down. You know,
yeah,
so that's a very big accomplishment.
I
I
think
think
so.
I
I
think
think it's already 19 of us.
I think
Last
yeah,
time I
Really?
saw,
yeah, I think it's
I think
19.
it's 19 or
Fantastic.
20. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, so we're right there. We're right on the cusp, but we need more people to support us so this can continue to grow. Okay, so I know the invoices have gone out.
Finally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Money's starting to come in. As soon as we get everybody's money in to start this whole ordeal, we're going to keep pushing forward. And that process should take about 2 years, if I'm correct.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully less, but
We do have time, so we can
yeah.
wait.
We do have time, yes.
But we waited for this
So
long, and
Amanda, something
Yeah,
funny is that we see a gap, and yeah, David started like pushing and say, "Hey guys, I think we need to work in a way that we can try to do better in the market."
right,
So we say, "Well, I think that's a good idea." So we start there. So we
right.
start with a gap and say, "Well, we have a few things that are lack of, I don't know, maybe pricing, maybe crossing, maybe everything that we need to get together and see how we can get it done."
Yeah. Yeah, so with this, it's going to be a research and promotional board. And basically, our whole goal is to educate the consumer, grow consumer demand, and I mean, educate everybody within the industry, right? From the bottom up. So,
Yeah. I think the first step was starting seeing each other as partners in the same industry and not really as competitors, and becoming closer.
mhm.
And just what you said. I mean, this market is getting tougher and tougher every year. If we don't come together, it's not looking pretty
Right. And you had
for
mentioned
anybody.
exactly. No, exactly. Margins are, really tough right now. Um, there's new competition coming in with other countries, for Mexico. Diego, I know you were a really big advocate about the volume and, the volume that we're going to see in the next few years. Can you expand a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think over the last, I don't know, 5 or 10 years, there's been a huge growth of lime growing area itself in Mexico, and now also in Colombia. Peru is coming with big areas also. I'm seeing a lot of big projects in Colombia for hundreds of hectares each project, some of them even in thousands. And I think Mexico has stopped a little bit, at least the growth
Right.
of the areas.
Yes.
But I do see, I mean, we don't really have exact numbers. Nobody really has them. But we are right now on a market that is roughly 780. For last fiscal year was 780 truckloads per week. And I do think this market is going to be easily 900 trucks or 950 truckloads for this year. And it's going to be 1100, probably 1200 for next year. So I don't really see the demand growing at that pace. So without just organically, I mean, if we don't push it, I don't see the demand growing so fast.
I would agree with you there. And we've seen so much success with the Haas Avocado Board, with the National Mango Board, and helping to grow consumer demand. And you're right, if we're not going to be able to maintain the value of limes unless we, grow that consumer demand. So, I think a lot of people were also afraid in the industry about the lessons that they've learned from other boards, the mistakes that have been made, and knowing those lessons, having learned from them, and trying to ensure that our board really reflects the industry from the smallest grower to the largest and really tries to push the consumer to eat more limes. What do you guys think about that?
Of course, yes. In the United States, we need to have more awareness on, especially on the buyers, on the big, larger buyers. Sometimes they want to be like, bigger fruit when it's seasoned with this smaller fruit, and they could take advantage of that, that will impact the consumer. But if you don't, most of these guys, they probably never been to a field of limes. They seen one in pictures or Google it, and they don't have uh, the whole knowledge of, the advantage of they can take of is not because a smaller lime has less juice or than a bigger lime. It's just the season
Hmm.
or the weather. It can impact sizing, and that will translate into volume translate into better pricing. But they
Right.
don't want to change because they never change. It's always been like that, and they don't know any other way. So I think it will be a good value the board, so we can actually have funds to teach these guys, even take them there and say, hey, look, this is what we tell you to maybe have an allowance on sizing or
Right.
quality blanching or something. It's just make them more aware of what's in the field and why it's happening. Not because we want to impose that. It's just Mother Nature.
And something
Yeah,
just to make sure there is that what happened last year is gonna be different this year. So every year is different. So that will be like, okay, this year was like this, but next year is gonna be different because we depend a lot of, as David said, nature, weather, heat, whatever. So it's the different factors that we can try to share with buyers in the U.S.
absolutely. So, what would be your message to those people? Because we do have a few big names that are kind of against this board. What's your message to the people that are out there that are hesitant to join or just kind of waiting on the sidelines to see if this is going to happen or not?
I think we have point out a lot of advantages of having a board. And just going a little bit back to the last thing we mentioned, like blanching is a big issue for everybody. The the standards and grades are not really where we're supposed to be. And teaching these two people will increase a lot, or volume, or could increase a lot, or the revenue and the consumption for the general population. And I mean, I have talked to pretty much most of the people that is not on board, and they don't really have a true point or something that to be against it. I mean, I haven't heard anything that I wouldn't say valid, but I haven't heard really good arguments. And I think we have really strong ones, the increased consumption, the volume that is coming in, and our industry is so it's so it's like a bunch of little pieces.
Right.
It's not concentrated. It's not concentrated at all. So if we don't come together, I don't think any of our companies or any companies that are in the industry have nor the budget or the willing to spend all this money or to invest all this money
Right.
marketing and research as we can do it as an industry as a whole.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, well, my point of view, no offense to anybody, but
No offense.
it's just that I think they want to get a value of something. They want to spend $1, they want to get $1 back. And so like one of our colleagues, Ronnie, said one day, it's just, you have to look at it as an investment. It's just like,
Correct.
and how much you going to get out of it, you don't know. But the for certain you can have is the industry will be more organized, and more than anything that you're gonna get out of this is it will be the knowledge that we can transmit as a whole community or as a whole industry to the bigger potential and the biggest and the smallest buyers, like everybody in the industry. uh, how can our industry is designated for an end customer. So at the end of the day, the beneficiary, it will be the customer, and they want more customers and we want more volume because we have more volume. Like, this year and last year, prices are been pretty steady, and that's because of the extra volume that we have not just Colombia or Peru. Forget about that. Just Mexico itself. It just grew from Veracruz, Tabasco, Mérida, Oaxaca to Jalisco, Nayarit, Sinaloa, Querétaro. I heard states that you never heard they have limes now. So what are we going to do with all those limes? Eventually,
Good question.
we have no market for it. So it's a good idea. We need to start. We need to plan, educate, and that will impact too the grower too in Mexico. I think this lime board will educate the grower that you cannot just discriminate planting hectares and hectares of lime because eventually you're gonna shoot yourself, in the foot because there's no more room for more limes.
Yeah, we're all playing the long-term game.
A
We're
lot
all
of
playing the long-term
information
game.
out there for people to make a good decision. That's what I think.
What were you saying, Alfonso?
Something also, Amanda, is that I think USA has not been changed anything from about what 20 years for lives,
30.
30
30,
years.
yeah.
So it's something that's a lot of time, right? So I think it's something we need to change the grades, how we put everything. So for this, I think something that need to be renewed.
Well, when I was doing my research about the research and promotional board, so we wouldn't be able to. There are no grade or standard enforcements, but we can educate them, and then they can go back and make the decisions or make the changes that are necessary that would be of value to the industry. Can you guys tell me a little bit about the Mexican Lime Board? What are they called? It's
Coped.
It's Copel.
Yes. Can you expand a little bit about them and what they're doing? I'm not familiar with them, but if you could expand on that, I'd appreciate it.
Spanish.
A ver, Diego, come on,
Como
expand on
tú
that.
quieres.
So I think Copel was an organization. Copel is Cooperación de Productores y Exportadores de Limón Persa, as far as I know,
Yes,
something like that. Yeah.
yes, something like that.
But it's basically the lime industry in Mexico, or the packers and the exporters, basically. As far as I know, I'm not really 100% in, but as far as I knew, it was an organization that has been basically doing nothing for the last, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, was kind of abandoned. And not so far ago, probably this year, I think it was this year, it was a change of management. There was a new board elected. Poncho's brother is on the board,
Yes,
and a few other exporters, Carillo and Manfred also. They're there, and they're changing the whole mentality. They're changing the whole thing, and they're pushing forward to. They actually are in the Lime Board organization group now, or they became a part of the Tipo Lime committee as well. So I think it's a whole new mentality of going forward, or doing things, and activating this organization that was basically like dormant for a lot of years. So
That's
it's
wonderful.
it's it's very refreshing. I think it's great for the industry having new people leading the efforts in Mexico as well. So I think it's a whole generational change that it's happening in the industry. I mean, Alfonso and Amanda, your both of your fathers have been in the industry for basically forever, and it's a new generation. And I think it's pushing forward, and hopefully it's gonna make the industry better for everybody. That's what I think.
I think Copel is trying to be aligned with the parties in the U.S. So that will work to get together and see, well, what we can do in the Mexico side and the U.S. side. I think
Right.
those right now is like the perfect line to get all together and see, well, what we can do to change something. And there's a lot of packing house in that Copel in Veracruz that can help also understand a little bit more.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad that they are open and now working with us. I believe they were on our last, Lime Board
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah, they
And
were
something else, I heard it has just opened up to other packers in other parts of Mexico. So that's even better.
right.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great to
the
hear.
last TIPA meeting they were involved and they will be participating on the Lime Committee board.
So I think we've touched a lot of really good topics. Is there anything else that you guys would like to add before we kind of close up?
I think, as everybody's seeing is that now as a whole industry, we get more attention, it's easier to raise the hand and then government entities will turn around and actually listen, at least listen, it's different than when you're alone here. And even if you're a bigger supplier, they just hang up on you and tomorrow is tomorrow. So now as an industry, I think I guess they just look at you as a sourcing information for the market,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
It
been
changed
pretty
a
loud.
lot of things.
Yes, it is changing. We've been pretty loud, I think, for the last 4 or 5 years, wanting changes, and it seems like they're starting to come, and we're seeing some really good momentum. So I think we should see this start to form very, very soon. And for those of you who are not on board yet, I think you should be.
Should come.
Huh?
Yes, we invite
You should
everybody.
come on.
Yeah, you should
Come
come
on,
on, join the
right?
team, join the
Invite
crew.
everybody to join.
And I think
So
something I'm gonna really quick is that we're doing this
yeah,
for the industry.
that's true.
That is something that we're thinking more in the future and say, well, we need to do something right now so it can work. It can help for future occasions.
So everybody's going to be at Viva Fresh, right?
Yes.
Yes.
April
Yes.
10th through the 12th. I will be there. Do you guys have a booth?
Yeah. Yeah, we do
Don't
have
have
it.
it,
Okay.
but
No, we
I will.
Well,
don't.
I have no clue which
that's
but we
okay.
will have one.
We with Diego right now on that booth.
We'll be
You
at
can come on
Diego's
mine.
booth. Yeah, we'll be at Diego's booth. Yeah.
Okay, Diego's booth. I'm at 701. You can come hang out at our booth if
Okay.
you want
We
Yeah,
will.
we're
with
perfect.
Vision
Let me
Global
check
Group.
my booth out. Now I feel bad. I should have my booth number.
Well, if
No, I don't know.
that's all right. I'm sure we can find it. Somebody will find it. I'll post it when I'm doing the description. So if anybody wants more information, you can definitely reach out to any one of us. We'd be happy to
Yes,
give
please.
you some, any more information about this upcoming emerging National Lime Board. I'm very, very excited. Thank you all for including me from the start. And
You were a key. You were a key part, Amanda.
thank you.
You were a
Thank
key
you for
part.
your work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, for your effort. Yeah, and you did. Like I said, you took it to a different level.
Yeah.
Organizing these three guys.
We were like here, and Amanda was like here already.
Yeah.
So
She was
let's
Well,
go.
thanks,
way
guys.
ahead. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's a huge compliment. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up. I'm so grateful that you guys took a little bit of time away from your family after the workday was done to spend today with me. It was a really exciting day, Liberation Day. I'm glad it's
Yes.
over. I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
me
have
too.
a drink now.
I will have 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah.
We're ready. Yeah.
Okay, and we'll see you guys at Viva Fresh. Okay.
All right. We'll see you
Thank you.
guys. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Amanda.
Thank you
Have a
all
good
so
day.
much.
I
Take
really
care.
like
Anything.
that Three Amigos guy. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really good.
We're gonna make it a t-shirt.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
make it the
I'll say
tequila.
it.
Sounds like it's like tequila with lime.
Hey,
Three
I'm
Amigos.
all for it. Let's go.
Got
Take
All
it.
right,
care,
guys.
guys.
Nice
Bye-bye.
Thank
seeing
you.
you.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye. Bye
Take
bye.
care.
Thank you for listening in to the latest episode of Importer Insight. I hope you learned a little bit about what it takes to create a national lime board. Next, we're going to be at the Viva Fresh Expo in Houston for its 10th anniversary. I cannot wait. It is my favorite show of the year. And there, I will be interviewing somebody I absolutely adore. You're definitely going to want to meet her. So tune into the next one, and I'll see you later. Take care.